pretty interesting. But what's going on, folks? Welcome to tonight's episode of the Running Gun Podcast. I'm JPeeps.
And I'm Ace, who's running a different spot today in the house. So he doesn't have his normal background, so he just ran with this to go with it for the episode. So don't worry about it. We'll be back fine next week.
But see, the amazing part is you're here. That's the amazing part, and that's what matters. We're crazy. So, as you know, we got a whole lot of fun stuff in store for you tonight. We have the reaction to the college football playoff. Actually, I have some history.
Snub.
Yes, I have. Actually, you know what? I have some history I'm going to share with you guys. I sure as hell do. And I also have some things, well, two instances of history. We're also going to talk about and recap the SWAC championship, why it was what it was, and why, you know, what's next for FAMU and everything such as that. We're going to talk about the Celebration Bowl, the build up to it and stuff, answer some questions such as that. We're also going to talk about who the new number one seed is in the AFC tonight as well. We're also going to talk about who basically is interested in that Grambling job as well. So,
with that being said, you know, NFL is coming down to the back end of the season. Another set of quarterbacks got hurt. Sucks. One quarterback who keeps getting hurt, who keeps coming back from the dead, just needs to stay dead. Talk about that too. Be a friend, tell a friend, like, share, subscribe. Man, I feel first off, I guess I feel bad for all FSU fans out there. Y'all got done dirty. But we'll talk about that during the episode.
Yes.
So, with that being said, I'm going to post this link on Twitter and let's run this intro.
Let's do it.
Hey, what's going on, guys? This is JP. This is the Bug.
This is JC.
This is Flash. This is Jimi Hendrix.
And you're listening to
you're listening
to the Run and Gun Podcast.
Let's get it.
Let me change this real quick. And then we can definitely dive right into it. So, as it goes, as we all saw, FAMU made history this weekend, winning 3 conference championships in 3 different conferences. So, with that being said, FAMU has now won a conference title in the SWAC. FAMU has won conference titles in the MEAC and in the SIAC. So FAMU has the triple crown as follows now, and will represent the SWAC in the Celebration Bowl against Howard. And also, too, interesting little fact tidbit right now for tonight: FAMU men's basketball is up 41-32 on Presbyterian at the moment, 41-32. So more good news as well with that. Also, too, someone mentioned this. Some people may not like it. I'm coming right out the gate with it. Ace?
I saw this, and I'm like, The way how you put it as a hired gun is so, I don't want to say ironic, but it's kind of what it is, because, you know, how the SWAC was all, FAMU's coming in, this is our town, it's a different area, it's a different type of game, blah, 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 back in 2021. And then
actually,
it is so poetic that it's going to be FAMU who goes and stops the MEAC's run of Celebration Bowls.
Yes, quite possible. Now, I will say, Willie Simmons mentioned this earlier today in his meeting with the T20 QB Club. Howard is no pushover. Howard, as we all know, won 50-20 over the number 7 team in the FCS at the time. Howard also went toe-to-toe with Northwestern for a while. Howard, outside of 2 kickoff returns for touchdowns, could have upset Eastern Michigan. They are not a pushover. Willie Simmons and the staff are going to have to come ready to play. You got to bring the big stick. Don't think you're just going to show up and win this game.
No, they got to show up and take care of business. But I think they will.
Facts, and that's true. From what I've heard, it's been a very locked in, dialed in, focused week of practice so far. And then even too, like this is just the bye week, but when game week rolls around. So from what I heard, I think Willie Simmons is headed. I think he said they're leaving on Wednesday to get to Atlanta and prep for this or something like that. Or I think he said they're going to bust 4 hours there. But I'm looking forward to it. Couple stats from that game actually last week in the SWAC championship. So FAMU the ground game is coming alive. 229 yards rushing last week on 41 attempts. That was half of the production. 219 passing. Basically, 50% fourth down percentage, 5 of 12 on third down. Prairie View was 1 for 7 on third down. They held Prairie View to 91 yards passing. Basically, once Trajan Connolly went out of the game, I think really either his shoulders separated or he broke his collarbone. That was the end of Prairie View's passing game. But Prairie View had 183 yards rushing on the ground. I mean, that came, I think, honestly, after a dull moment after that lightning delay when they came out in the third quarter, middle of the third. But overall, 3 turnovers as well by Prairie View. So the Dark Cloud defense once again in second consecutive game, I think forced 6 total turnovers in 2 meetings in 2023 against Prairie View. So I liked what I saw. This is about how I expected it to go. So,
I believe the score was what, 35-14, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was 34-17. That wasn't that far off.
I said 38-10 initially, but then I switched it because I still have it up here. Come game day, I switched it to 28-10. So we were close. So the good thing is we both personally have another week to watch Howard film and get an understanding of what Howard wants to do and everything.
Mm-hmm. And we'll get the prediction on the money. I feel like.
I hope so. Maybe we're thinking the same thing.
I think we both. I feel like we have a general idea of what the score is going to be. I don't think it's going to be a close game, especially in that dome. That defense is going to be buzzing. You think that defense is going to be buzzing in the dome?
I think the Dark Cloud defense will be buzzing, but I think it's going to be a little knockdown, drag out, barroom brawl type fight. I expect a fight.
You don't think it's going to be the slugfest that's out like how South Carolina State mugged Jackson State last year, I believe?
2 years ago. I don't think it'll be.
2 years. You don't think it'll be a punch in the mouth type game?
I don't think it's going to be a type of game where Howard's going to throw FAMU out of the club like how South Carolina State threw Jackson State out of the club. I think it's going to be similar to what we saw last year with North Carolina Central and Jackson State, but I do think FAMU can pull it out. I expect. I'm just saying this because I really expect Howard to show up and not be intimidated, because they're going to come in thinking, oh, FAMU is the 5th ranked team in the country. We've already beaten a top 10 ranked team before. That's their thought process. Now, the other thing that's going to be mentioned and talked about is this. Because Willie Simmons alluded to this too. And actually had it in
I think they're going to get a little trouble, but I think FAMU is going to just ground and pound that.
Yeah, you're going to have to. And Willie Simmons alluded to this earlier today where he said Howard leads the nation in pass defense, because what Howard will do is, although they will load the box, this presents as a challenge for the Rack boys. So really you're creating pressure, making it rough on the QBs, forcing them to just make a quick decision. So they're going to force Musa to make a quick decision. And this is where Musa has to be excellent pre-snap. If Musa's excellent pre-snap and can check out of certain things and check into certain things and check protections, he has a chance. See, I'm already talking like it's already game day. This is how you know I'm ready. I'm
You
already
locked in. You ready for this?
dude. I've been taking notes on this stuff, and I'm already set and ready for this, man. I'm already good to go. I'm ready to play Saturday. I'm ready to play the game Saturday, but I know we got another week. It's fine. Williams also alluded to the fact that this Howard team, they had more hunger and they played with a greater effort than North Carolina Central did. I think North Carolina Central went in there thinking, oh, it's Howard. They're going to lay down for us. You can't do that week to week. And what happened was Howard went out there and punched him in the mouth and ended it.
Yep.
And sent NC Central to the FCS playoffs to get fed to Richmond and Richmond beat the daylights out of them. So, yeah. So it'll be an interesting game, December 16th at 12. We have another Run and Gun podcast that we will sit down here and we'll talk about it beforehand. But in other news too, we have two former NFL players that expressed interest in jobs. So Andre Johnson, who's a former Houston Texans wide receiver, he expressed interest in the Texas Southern job. And then this happened too. Ed Reed came out and expressed his interest. So, Ace, I'm going to start with you because I know everybody's got varying opinions of this, and they feel.
And I said this last week. Didn't I say this last week? I said one of these teams is going to be calling back Ed Reed. We know how it ended with Bethune because Bethune fumbled it up and got a really good coach just sitting there. Somebody going to take him. Now, should Grambling do it? Absolutely. But they didn't have the patience with Hugh Jackson, and that program still needs a lot of work with it. So the question is, will they have enough patience with Ed for Ed? Would it be mutual patience on both ends? I guess is like the correct saying for it.
Yes. Now, again, it's funny how in that interview as well, I think it was with not Ryan Smith. It was with that. What's the name of that group with all those guys? It's not Chad.
What channel?
All those guys. It's with Ocho Cinco and all those guys. They do that podcast.
No, it's not. It's not Club Shay Shay.
Yeah, it's another one. It's got like.
But ain't Ocho Cinco? No, isn't Ocho Cinco on with?
I think it's got Ryan. Yeah, he is on that one too, but it's another one too.
It's a different one. Oh.
Yeah. Oh well, it's a podcast.
That's the only podcast I really pay attention to.
It's a group thing. Where I forget his name, Chandler something. Dude that played at Florida has dreads.
That's a lot of them.
Yeah, I know. But they all were mentioning like Ed Reed went on there and said like, "Oh, Prime wanted me to come in after him at you know where." I'm like, I don't know who to believe.
If Prime got him to go to Jack, could I say it or don't? I just want to just say Jackson State. Like, I mean, he would recruit, but like them fans are gonna hold him. How do I say this nicely? Everything he does will be with a grain of salt.
But here's the thing that he said. He said what happened was he said Bethune had called him first, so he went to Daytona, and he said this has already been built up. I'm gonna go to Volusia County and go build this up.
Well, they didn't want to build anything because they had nothing to build on.
Hey, crazy where all that went. It's just crazy. Everybody's got conspiracy theories and everything like that. Ed Reed said what he said. You know, I don't know what is true. Only really, truthfully, Dion can come out and confirm that or deny it. But I love the speculation because now it gets everybody all riled up. So
it gets everybody riled up. It's good for clicks, you know, good for keeping HBCU center focused, you know, especially with a guy like Ed Reed.
Yeah.
It would be good for the program, like for the SWAC and HBCU teams as a whole.
Yeah.
But then you're also like,
he's now,
you know, the way how Jackson State turned on Dion when he left, and then how they went and they turned back and tried to rewrite what they were doing after he left a couple months later when Colorado started winning, and then we know that season ended for Colorado, but when they first started off hot, it was like that was Jackson State fans were acting up. Like they try to pretend like they didn't do anything when he left. So like if you're Ed Reed, you got to see like this how they're gonna treat you when you leave, kind of thing.
Hey, look, they got their guy. Let him stick with him. They believe him. Stick with him. Now, the other thing that now if either one is serious about Ed Reed, which I low key I don't think they are. You have 2 Louisiana schools right there. You got LSU or not LSU. You got Southern. You got Grambling.
I take the Southern one before I take the Grambling one.
Both of them need head coaches.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think, and honestly, I hate to say it like this, but I think the former NFL player route is done. I think the celebrity coach is done. I think that the NFL coach is done because Hugh Jackson just got let go. So it's going to be a while before we see
Then make a decision.
Well, not make a decision, but I feel like it's going to be a while before we see teams explore that realm again.
I doubt it. Somebody's going to do it.
Possibly. Now, the good news is also, too, Willie Simmons said right now there's no interest from anybody else that's trying to target him or try to steal him away. So he said really his focus right now is winning the Celebration Bowl and coming back next year and trying to do the same thing again. That was
the only job Willie Simmons should accept is if it's a Power 5 top tier school.
Exactly. And
that is the only job he's not leaving FAMU, so let's not do that.
Exactly.
He's committed to them and they're committed to him.
Exactly. Now, when the time comes, when the deal's done in 2025, because you don't have to do it like how you do an NFL player where you just get the deal done ahead of time. But when the time comes in 2025, at some point, I'm backing A.D. Sykes and Larry Robinson need to back the Brinks truck up to his house.
They definitely do.
Yeah.
I'm laughing, but I'm also serious. Like, the man deserves the bag. He has lost, I believe, 6 total games in the last 3 seasons. He made it to the SDS playoffs.
Yeah, I was gonna say since you've been with us, he's lost to Jackson State twice, Southeast Louisiana, USF twice. He's only lost like 5 games since you've been here.
Yeah, 5 or 6 games, I know. And I'm 35 and 0 in the predictions. I'm jinxing myself. Knocking out wood. All right, knocked on enough wood.
I was gonna say,
back to the topics.
Go.
Huh?
I was gonna say knock on wood because you got 1 more game to go.
All right, I knocked on double time. Anyways, yeah, back to what I was saying. Yeah, so he's barely lost any games, and the games he's lost to are really good teams. It's not like he's losing games that he should have won. Like all these games were difficult matchups and difficult situations. Like the UNC game also is one of the games he lost. But that game, we know that game it had its external circumstances with it.
Yes.
The second of the 2 Jackson State matchups had its own circumstances with it because of the ineligibility stuff. Southeast Louisiana was an FCS playoff game. Like, come on now.
Yeah.
USF is still a FBS team. It's not like they're slouches.
And you challenge him.
3 out of the 6 losses that he's had is against FBS teams.
Mm-hmm. Facts. This is facts. So it is a good sign. So yeah, and I'm excited about him coming back next year. I am also excited about the fact that if 2025, if he's still around, he will be leading FAMU into the swamp to go play for the University of Florida that year. So that'll be a fun little matchup. Now, that being said, I guess we can transition on over to the college football part of all this and talk about what needs to really be talked about, and that's this Final Four. So, with that being said, I want to start off with this because this is why I switched over to this first. I'm going to go, you know what, Ace, ad lib while I type this in.
All right. So, who Chime in if you all saw the me and Hendrix 2 a.m. college football selection Sunday preview. That was fun. I gotta admit, that was one of the most fun episodes I've done since I've been with Penalty Talk, you know? Because Hendrix went and he hit me up like 12:30, man. And he was like, "Hey, I don't know if I can be waking up in time before the selection committee drops predictions." And I have some stuff I wanted to get off my chest. So I was like, "Hey, I'm still up, man. You want to do this? Let's do this." And he's like, "I bet." When we just put together some stuff, I went and made the backgrounds and everything. Like, "Hey, let's run this and we're gonna have some fun." And we initially had it where it was gonna be the correct order to what it ended up being, but we stand on principle and dignity, unlike the college football committee, who only care more about ratings than actual achievements and accomplishments as a team, because it is a team sport, not one player determining what's going on. Especially when you had a University of Alabama win a championship with Jay Coker. Come on now.
I ain't gonna lie, Jay Coker was nice though. Hold up. Jay Coker was
Yeah,
nice.
but we're gonna knock off what's his name? Tate Rodemaker? Isn't that his name?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's his name.
Rodemaker, who had played like less than 5 career games. He got knocked out of his one game that he was playing this season, like fully. And it's kind of like they would have had a full month for him to be healthy.
Exactly.
And he would have had time to get practice in, had time to figure out what their game plan is, and they would have given somebody trouble. And then people go on to point to, oh, look at TCU last year when they played Georgia and how that college championship wasn't a competitive game. People forget they went and beat Michigan. They beat the number 2 seed. It's not like they were beating only slouches. They had good wins. It's just SEC teams is like, at this point you might as well just say the SEC is the college football playoff. Because that's basically what it's like. Texas is gonna be an SEC team next year.
Exactly.
If this was next year and it was still a 14 playoff next year, this tournament, what the bracket is right now, would have not happened. Because Texas or Georgia, Texas or Bama would have won the SEC, and not both would have had conference championships. And you cannot deny a undefeated Power 5 champion spot in the top. And they went and did somehow, some way, because they didn't stand on principle, they didn't stand on their business. And there's video evidence of Kirk Herbstreit being recorded on live television, saying that the bracket should have been a Texas and Alabama over a Florida State, who would have been undefeated and a conference champion before Jordan Travis got hurt. He said this stuff on camera, live television. He was already promoting this type of train of thought and agenda of keeping Florida State out. So it's kind of like, what do you mean by that?
Exactly.
This is pretty much what the committee. This is basically how I looked at the committee when they said, "Hey, Florida State's not in. Florida State's gonna be number 5. We're gonna have Texas and Alabama 3 and 4." Alabama is like, I had 0 issues with Alabama getting into the tournament, right? Because they beat a number 1 team to get in, and they're the SEC champion. That holds merit by itself, right? So I was like, okay, I have no issues with that. And then they go and they put Texas in. Texas's one loss was to who again?
Oklahoma, who we don't even know.
Outside of the top 10, Oklahoma.
I love the background, by the way.
Thank you. And this is the biggest game of Texas season was the game they lost.
Yes. Exactly.
That was mid-season. The one game Alabama lost was week 2. And me and Hendrix was talking about this. That was a week 2 game. And after that, they got better. And then also you have to consider the fact Florida State would have been in if Auburn actually knew how to play cover defense and dropped 9 guys into coverage and still somehow went up a 10-second pass rush and somehow gave up a back corner end zone touchdown at the end of the game.
Facts.
Most of the teams that got in over Florida State had their flaws. Texas had much bigger flaws, in my opinion, because they lost to number 12 Oklahoma in the biggest game of their own season. And it's not like you were an ACC champion undefeated. You weren't undefeated. while you did beat up Oklahoma State, it wasn't like you were running through the conference the entire time.
Right.
You didn't have an undefeated conference record.
Of course. You're absolutely right. I'm bringing up these rankings.
You got it now? Time to cook.
Well, okay, so yeah, I got it now because I'm just gonna point to times where the committee and the BCS computers, because there's error with both computers and with people. Times where both got this wrong. So, for instance, here we go. And honestly, I'll be real with you. Alabama, or the year UCF went undefeated, I feel like UCF should have got in, but they got screwed. And this is why Cincinnati later on got in. UCF died on that hill for UCF or for Cincinnati to get in and be where they were. So I'm going to share my screen now. Let's see. Present. Share screen.
You got it?
Oh, I got it. There are two instances where teams have been left out. Actually, no, I'm not going to start with this one. Actually, no, I will. So can you see this? Do you see this?
Yeah, that's the Auburn one, right?
So this is 2004 Auburn. 2004 Auburn, led by Tommy Tuberville, who's also a senator in the state of Alabama now. Quarterback was Jason Campbell, running back Cadillac Williams, and Ronnie Brown. So Auburn got left out of the national championship in 2004 and was one of the best teams in the country, if not the best. Who did they put in the championship game? This is before Flash, who knows everything, was watching football. Mm-hmm. Before, I want to say 2004 was before you were born.
Yeah, no, after.
After. Okay. So you were still a little lad still.
I was a wee little lad.
Exactly. So what happens when this undefeated Auburn team gets left out? USC, who was good at the time, they go to the championship, rightfully so, and they go play against a team that I feel like was not deserving in a 2004 Oklahoma team that had Adrian Peterson. Now, Ace, ask me what was the score of that game.
What was the score of that game?
USC destroys Oklahoma 55-19.
Woo!
Yes. So you tell me now who got it wrong.
One moment. I gotta be quicker on these backgrounds.
Who got it wrong? Yeah, BCS computers, they screwed up that time. Big time. Now, let's go to another one. I'm going to take you a little bit further back. This is what you're looking at right now. You're looking at 2000 Miami. Literally everybody on this team went first round. So I'm questioning still now how the hell do you leave this team out? This team actually won 34 straight, a run of dominance that still has not been repeated yet. 29 is the magic number that everyone gets to. Nobody gets past 29. This team won 34 straight games between 2000 and 2002 when they lost to Ohio State. Got cheated against Ohio State, by the way. This team loses to Washington 34-29 week 2. They beat McNeese State 61-14 week 1. They go out west and lose to Washington 34-29, run the table. They're actually flip-flopping back and forth between them and Florida State every week. Number 1, Florida State. Number 2, Miami. This team actually beat Florida State too, by the way. This is part, I think, the infamous wide right game where Bobby Bowden got sunburnt. But yeah, every week afterwards, it was Florida State, Miami, Florida State. It flip-flopped every week, and then so on and so forth. So what happens is, and this is also the same year as the election between Bush and Al Gore. So the computers were very
computers were glitchy in that era.
Exactly. Just very like the year 2000 was not a good year as far as computer work because you had it basically screwed up an election and then it also screwed up the BCS national championship. And what happens is it catapulted Florida State, who should not. By the way, this is where I don't show my fandom. This game right here, or this instance, catapulted Florida State into a game they should not have been in. They really should have been in the Sugar Bowl rematching against Florida, which is what 2000 Miami got the short end of the deal on. So what happens? Florida State goes to the national championship to play against Oklahoma in 2000. Miami gets sent off to the Sugar Bowl to go play against Florida that year. Now, Ace, my fair friend, ask me what the final score of this game was.
What was the final score of this game, Jordan?
Florida State loses to Oklahoma 13-2.
2.
Yes, literally. It ended Florida State's dynasty.
So, how bad do you think Texas losing to Washington?
Oh, no, I don't think Texas is going to lose to Washington, honestly. I'll be real with you. I'll be real. I do not think that because of what has happened, I do not think that Texas is going to lose to Washington. I think that Texas is going to show up and show out and fight. I think, honestly, Michigan better be ready.
You realize you just how do I say this? Contradicted your own statements.
I know I did. I know you're kind of blurry right now.
I am. Why? What? Wait. Yoo-hoo! Camera. What's going on with you, buddy boy? Did my camera have a seizure? I think my camera had a stroke. Bruh, why am I so blurry? What the hell?
I don't know why you're so blurry.
Anyway, we'll just keep it going. It'll figure itself out.
Now, what I was saying is, simply put, I know I may have contradicted myself with this, but I'm going to be real. I look back at so many instances of just college football playoff rankings and stuff. Like,
there we go. All fixed now.
Like, I'm going to be real with you. 2019, Oklahoma probably should not have been there.
That was the Jalen Hurts one?
Yeah, it was Jalen Hurts against Joe Burrow and the Peach Bowl.
That was what, 63-20 something, right?
28.
Yeah, I knew it was some 63-20. I don't remember that game. I was watching that game. That game was murder.
Literally. And then you also look at the Alabama-Oklahoma game. Oklahoma probably should not have been there.
But for the point then, do you think the committee got it right?
Do I think the committee got it right here? No, I don't.
So then who should have been in?
I do think Michigan should have been in. Michigan was a conference champion. I think Washington should have been in. Washington was a conference champion. Alabama should have been in. Alabama was a conference champion. But at the same time, too, Alabama knocking out the number one team in the country kind of faces or forgives the loss to Texas early in the season. Because Alabama right now is not the same Alabama that played Texas. They are not. It's going to be real.
Jalen Milroe's two different type of guys right now.
Exactly. Now, I do feel Florida State should have been in over Texas. Why? Because Texas lost to Oklahoma. An Oklahoma team who right now is let's take a look at this. An Oklahoma team.
Were they 12 last I checked? That was Sunday, though.
Oklahoma is actually 12th in the country right now at 10-2. This same Oklahoma team almost lost to UCF and lost Bedlam to Oklahoma State. And who else did they lose to? Kansas.
You giving Michael Penix a month to get healthy. Giving Dylan Johnson a month to get healthy. That's all I'm saying.
Now,
Giving McMillan a month to get healthy. 100%.
Texas will be ready. I'm picking Texas to win this game. because I feel like they're setting up an Alabama-Texas rematch. But
Well, yeah, committee-wise, I feel like that's what it's going for because the committee wants the ratings.
and it's two future SEC opponents.
It would build this great rivalry between two SEC teams who've battled it out in the conference football playoff.
And it's Saban against Sarkisian, the student against another, this teacher against another student.
Master versus the apprentice.
Exactly.
Oh, the pure essence of it, bro. That's some bull. There's some bull though.
I know. Real. I know, but again,
it's some bull. How it's a bull. It's bull. How college football is turning into the NFL in terms of script writing.
Of course, dude. And here's the thing.
Everything's for the ratings.
Exactly. And here's the thing. Here's my gripe. Florida State did not have a close margin of victory in either of their last two games. Florida State had a greater margin of victory than people gave them credit for. People thought it was going to be close against Florida. They beat Florida State they beat Florida by a large amount of points. They beat Louisville by more than 10 points. They would have gotten Rodemaker back because I feel like Rodemaker was going to be better in the playoff. So now,
but if I'm half of the guys on FSU, I don't even show for the bowl game.
Well, you already know now Johnny Wilson's not going to play.
Yeah, I know. He went to the draft.
Yeah, I'm like realistically speaking.
Keon Coleman's probably going to the draft. Johnny,
exactly.
He's Trey Benson's probably going to the draft. Jared Verse probably going to the draft.
Tatum Bethune.
A couple guys on that defense also is going to that draft. So it's like,
because now you're going to sit here. Because now, realistically speaking, if all these guys opt out, you're going to see Florida State get fed to Georgia. Georgia's pissed off too because neither coach wanted to even be on the Skype call. Neither coach wanted to be on the Skype call. So now you got two pissed off squads. Florida State might not even be at full strength. Georgia's pissed off as all can be. Like, because now you're going to sit here and be like, okay, well, see, Florida State ain't even at full strength.
They want okay, let me just say it how this is. They're going to set it up so the SEC teams dominate New Year's. New Year's Eve and New Year's Day.
Dude, LSU
the bias to the SEC is unreal.
Look, I like the SEC. I respect the SEC. I think it's a hell of a conference, but look at the New Year's slate. You have Ole Miss getting their hands on Penn State. You have Missouri getting a shot at Ohio State. You have LSU literally.
Who's the quarterback for Ohio State this game? I know Emeka and Marvin aren't even playing that game. I doubt either play.
Dude, literally, you have an LSU team who is frothing at the mouth that gets to play at Wisconsin in Tampa.
LSU's gonna be in Tampa. Oh man, Jaden Daniels ain't gonna play in that game. Neither is Neighbors. Boo! I would have won to that game.
I might. If I find tickets, I'll still go.
I'll probably. Hey, you want to go? We got you. I'm not doing nothing New Year's Day. You want to go?
If we can find tickets,
I'll check out Newsomeyer. See what's gonna go on next season.
If we can find tickets, we can go.
All right, bet.
And then you also have who else? Tennessee getting ready to feast on Iowa, an Iowa team that has one of the worst offenses in the FBS.
Iowa not scoring a single point in the Big Ten championship was hilarious. I just picked them as a F-it kind of pick because I already knew Michigan was gonna win, but I just wanted to see what was gonna happen for the fun of it. Like, well, everybody's taking Michigan. I already know Michigan's gonna win, but it'd be kind of cool if I got to use a Thanos moment of saying they called me a madman, even though I had zero faith Iowa's gonna win.
Dude, honestly, I didn't. When I found out Iowa had the worst offense in FBS football, I was like, "There's no chance. There's no chance at all."
That is how flawed the Big Ten is, because if they were smart, they would have put Ohio State and Michigan in two separate conferences, two separate divisions. But
yeah,
no, they went and they put them in two separate conferences or two separate divisions. My bad. And you keep them, and you keep getting a crappy Big Ten championship.
Exactly. I think honestly, we've only ever seen one upset in the Big Ten championship. One. I think Iowa pulled it off one year. And I think that was the year that, like, I think Iowa earned their shot into the Rose Bowl and got shredded by McCaffrey. So now, let me get off my soap opera. I'm going to ask you this now, because this is what it's about this weekend.
Navy.
Are you land-based or are you sea-based this weekend?
Sea.
I feel that. So, yeah, the Commander-in-Chief's trophy's on the line because Air Force couldn't get the job done against Army. So, this is where we're at. Also, too,
USF got a bowl game in Boca Raton.
I really wanted USF and UCF to get matched up in the Gasparilla Bowl.
Why didn't they do that?
I don't know. Well, it's two ACC teams that needed opponents, but I really wanted that to happen. That you realize how much money that would have made?
That would have sold out. I guarantee that game would have sold out. Every seat in Raymond James Stadium would have been sold out.
Dude, I would have went. I would have
went. I would have like, bro. I would have like, USF might give UCF that game would have been that game would not have been an easy game for UCF.
The World on I-4 trophy would have still been up for grabs.
Mm-hmm.
It would have made that game would
that
have
that was right there for the committee. I don't know why they didn't do that because it's like War on I-4. I was like, everybody's like, oh, the War on I-4 is that they both went 6-6 this year. Like USF going from not even winning 6 games in 3 years with Just Scott to somehow winning 6 games with Golesh, and then you got UCF going to the Big 12 and somehow winning 6 games their first time there. Let them both play back each other. That was right there, and they fumbled that.
You really expected the committee to get it right? Or
committee can't even get the playoff right. They ain't getting the bowl games right.
Am I going? Honestly, dude, I don't think I'm going to Atlanta. I hate to say it, but I don't think I'm going to Atlanta. I don't think I'm going to Atlanta. My only hope of a bowl game this season right now is the ReliaQuest Bowl. Yeah, or Gasparilla Bowl. Those are my only 2 hopes of bowls. I am unfortunately not going to Atlanta. So, I mean, you know, I'll be in Atlanta for Labor Day weekend in 2024 when FAMU and Norfolk get it on. But as of right now, no, unfortunately. But, yeah. Also, too, Bronco.
So, the Gasparilla Bowl and ReliaQuest Bowl are 2 things, right?
So the Gasparilla Bowl is before New Year's Day. The ReliaQuest Bowl, which used to be the Outback Bowl, is on New Year's Day.
Okay, I thought they renamed the Outback to Gasparilla for some reason. I guess they renamed it to ReliaQuest. The Outback Bowl was iconic. I don't know why they redid it to ReliaQuest. Sponsorship money, I know. But it doesn't have the appeal that Outback Bowl.
It doesn't.
Oh boy.
No, but you gotta look at it like this. How popular is Outback Steakhouse nowadays?
That is true. Outback Steakhouse fell off.
Because like Outback Steakhouse, that was the thing. Like that was like your Thursday, Friday night vibe for not for me at least, but for your average American family that used to love to eat out back in like the early 2000s, like late 90s and all that stuff. Like, are you doing that now? Like, let's be real. Are you really gonna go on a random?
Who uses ReliaQuest either? So it's kind of like,
We gotta think about what is ReliaQuest.
I think ReliaQuest is something with computers or insurance. It's one of the 2.
I think so. Let me see.
Does that? What else we got? Have anything else in college football? We done had our rants. Done already said how much the committee screwed up.
ReliaQuest helps increase visibility, decrease complexity, and manage risk. We are a false multiplier for your security team.
So it is computer thing. It's a computer company.
Yeah, pretty hard. But I mean, that's kind of.
I remember seeing that somewhere.
My thing is, look, if you're gonna put a bowl game in Florida, you need to name it after Publix. Why couldn't
we need a Publix bowl?
We need a Publix Subs bowl. That's what the Outback
Pub Sub bowl. Pub Sub bowl. Pub Sub Bowl actually rolls right off the tongue. Pub Sub Bowl.
Exactly. And here's how it should have went. Because you know how like when in the old Outback Bowl, it was like when the SEC wins, you get coconut shrimp, or if the Big Ten wins, you get a bloomin' onion. Like it needs to be like, okay, Publix Bowl. If the SEC wins, you get like a free meatball sub. If the Big Ten wins, you get like a free Italian sub or something like that. But then again, that's a lot of subs, and folks would have tore that ish up. So I understand.
But sometimes the things that are right in front of them for teams to do, yes, they can't do it for some reasons. Like businesses, companies as a whole.
I know
the rational, the right thing to do is right in front of them, and they don't do it.
The problem is it makes too much sense most times. That's the problem. So within the answer lies the problem.
Exactly.
But, yeah.
That's sad.
I digress. We can go.
Let's talk about another sad fact. So Trevor Lawrence ankle sprain Monday Night Football.
I saw that, dude. I was like,
I thought, oh god, not another quarterback. But then I was like, oh wait. He's not in a boot. I was like, ooh, this might be something. He might not be done.
I do, and the thing is,
there's a chance.
The thing is Jacksonville had the chance to grab a hold of the number 1 seed in the AFC if they would have won last night.
That gave major vibes.
So now we're stuck with what happens now. The the Dolphins are now your number 1 seed.
That's only because the Ravens were on bye.
That's true too. That's very true. And then the other thing too is, don't look now, but Detroit, if Philly and San Francisco drop like one or two more games, and Detroit wins out, Detroit has the number 1 seed in the NFC at that point.
Detroit had one job, and they couldn't finish the deal.
What was that? Win on Thanksgiving?
No,
that's
Sunday.
One thing they did. Oh,
well, that too.
I mean, they did their job. They won. Isn't that what you wanted?
That wasn't the job they had to do. They were supposed to end the season, but they didn't end the season.
Well, they didn't win by enough, is what you're saying. Got it. Okay.
Hey. But Mr. Man, that stupid cockroach, he ain't want to go away. He keeps coming back. Brian Burns, you have one job.
Oh, Derek Carr?
Brian Burns got one job. And the Saints season.
The Eagles play.
Brian Burns on the Panthers.
Oh, geez, my bad. I'm thinking about the other kid. I'm thinking about someone. I'm thinking about Josh Sweat. My bad. 2 FSU edge rushers. So you're okay. So you just want Brian Burns to fall.
I didn't care. I wanted to be 2 and what are they right now? 1 and 11 or something like that.
Yeah,
1 and 12.
1 and 11.
You care wanted to be 2 and 11 or 2 and 12, whatever the hell they are.
So basically, you want Brian Burns to fall on Derek Carr like how Gentle Hunt fell on Trajan Connolly in the SWAC championship and just like end it. That's basically what you're saying. That's essentially. Don't look around. That's essentially what you're saying.
No, I need them to beat the Saints so that they would have lost 3 straight, 2 against divisional teams, and season be basically over. So they could fire Dennis Allen one time, get rid of Derek Carr one time. His season will be over, and you have a concussion for the 3rd time and just do retirement, enjoy his family life.
Sir.
Bro, this man does not go away. He's a stupid cockroach.
I can't believe you.
Bro, you know cockroaches don't go away. They just keep coming back and they won't die. That's basically what it is. This man has got hurt so many times. It's like Trevor Lawrence said an interesting thing. Let me find the quote. I'm gonna find this quote. I'm gonna have you read. I'll listen to this quote, right? What Trevor Lawrence said. I thought it was an amazing quote Trevor Lawrence said today, right? Give me a second. Let me pull it up. I will never put myself or the team at higher risk that we aren't going to do our best because I can't do my job. That is him on his ankle injury, right? So basically, he's saying he will not go out there if he's not healthy enough to make the team better.
True.
Yeah, Mr. Carr needs to go take some notes because this man has single-handedly cost them multiple games this season because he could not throw the ball properly. He had to have a wide open walk-in touchdown to the end zone. What did he do? He threw the ball short of him, and he has to go make a great catch to go save his behind. Dude was a deer in headlight. The pick he had at the beginning of the game. Dude was wide open on the left side of the field. What did he do? He looked at him, turn his head, and throws a check down pass.
Wow.
That gets tipped and intercepted.
Wow.
Check down Carly.
Check down Charlie, you mean?
Carly. 3 jokes in there, 2 digs.
Well,
Subtle shot.
I guess we can.
Speaking of which, Patriots. Oh god, that's gonna be the worst game of history.
How did we go?
No Ramondre, no Demario Douglas, no Keyshawn Booth.
How did
You're
we
stuck
go?
with Bailey Zappi versus Mitchell Trubisky.
How did we go from literally not Russell? So how did we go from the Seahawks and the Cowboys, like 2 playoff contenders, to this?
The Steelers as a team aren't terrible. It's just their offense has no quarterback right now. Mitchell Trubisky, come on.
Terrible. Patriots are terrible.
No, Patriots are terrible. I'm talking about the Steelers. Steelers are still in the playoff mix.
Yeah, which is crazy.
But the Steelers' offense ain't exactly Showtime offense.
Realistic, in my opinion, of the Steelers, they win the games that you expect them to lose, and then they lose the games you expect them to win. It's weird. I expected them to beat the Cardinals. Then they go out there and lose to the Cardinals. And then I expect them to win. I expect them to lose to somebody else, and then they win. It's weird.
Hey, the Cardinals, man. They can easily go and stick Kyler Murray with Marvin Harrison Jr. and an offensive lineman and be set. You realize that, right? Because they got a quarterback. Kyler Murray's not a slouch quarterback. He's still a top 10 quarterback in this league, right?
Yeah.
So would you say you want Caleb Williams, who's unproven, but he's a generational, potentially a generational type player, or Kyler Murray? Well, I don't even know if they get Caleb Williams at this point because I think they've won too many games. I think Caleb Williams is going to be a Bear. Sadly, he might stay at USC at that point.
He can't go back at that point. He's been going through all that ish.
Anyway, so yeah, back to what I was saying. Arizona, you can get Kyler Murray, $40 million contract, not great. Well, it's not a terrible contract compared to the Daniel Jones contract.
Mm-hmm.
But he's still a good quarterback, great quarterback. You can put Marvin Harrison Jr. with that 3rd overall pick. That is a generational type wide receiver. You have Trey McBride as your tight end. He is a elite tight end in this league at this point. He's a top 5 guy. You have Marquise Brown still. You got Paris Johnson on your left side of your offensive line, I believe. Yeah, they did take Paris Johnson from Ohio State last year. He's been good. You can go get another elite guard or tackle in this draft. This draft has some good offensive linemen. Put them on the next side. Your offensive line is set.
Yep.
And you have a defensive head coach who's getting really good play out of their defense right now.
You can make it work. You can make it work. I feel you.
Arizona is an interesting situation there that not a lot of teams are in.
They just need the right.
But then again, they could trade Kyler Murray to a team like Atlanta and get an extortion amount of picks from them because Atlanta needs a quarterback. Atlanta is a quarterback away.
Yes. And it's crazy because so many people have given up on Desmond Ridder, yet they lead the division.
The division is terrible, and Arthur Smith needs to go. Let me rephrase it. Arizona's not a quarterback away. Arizona's a head coach and a quarterback away.
Yes. Yes.
You as much as I don't want to admit it, but Ben Johnson and Kyler Murray in Atlanta, that might be a real good team. Grady Jarrell will be back next year. Like, you got Kyle Pitts, who's actually been decent this season. You got Drake London, who's all right. Still the third best wide receiver in his draft class, but he's still good. Still a wide receiver 1. And you got Bijan Robinson in the back. Got a great offensive line. Got a defense who hasn't allowed a touchdown in 24 possessions, I believe. 2 straight games, no touchdowns.
Didn't you mean tell me the Saints ain't scoring now?
Saints ain't score a touchdown.
Damn.
You remember Derek Bumboy? Derek Bumboy couldn't score a touchdown.
Damn. Not Bumboy. Oh my gosh. Crazy.
But he is a bomb.
He is. Crazy.
Need to go away. Anyway, what else we have in the NFL? Chiefs. Chiefs lost. I didn't see that coming, but I saw Jordan Love being good.
I didn't.
All right with that. I'm all right with that. I could take that.
I did not expect that either. I was very shocked by that. Because I was like, what? Because I fell asleep on that game. But I'm going to go ahead and post this as well. So, next Saturday, FAMU versus Howard breakdown for the Celebration Bowl will be at 11 a.m. because the game starts at noon. So, make sure you wake up with us and join us for the last one of the calendar year. We actually made it.
Is next week the season finale? No, it isn't.
No, well, not for the Running On podcast, but for pregame
FAMU stuff
and stuff. Yeah, that's the season finale. So used to the season finale having been like
in November.
Yeah, but it's not. It's like mid-December now.
Yeah, look at us. We have extended our horizons to cover December football.
I know, right? Like, dude, this
I need to go get Dawn to start this hockey podcast and Chad to start this basketball podcast.
Get on them about it, man. Tell them.
Tell them busy. Bro, Flash was so mad that I did this 2 a.m. podcast and I didn't invite him.
For what? You was asleep. I was asleep. Oh, you think I literally stood.
I was just built different.
Dude, I stood in the rain for like 5, 6, 7 hours.
Bro, that was crazy.
Because the trophy was dude, that rain was even worse in person. And was it a
cold rain?
It wasn't a cold rain, but it was one of those rains where it's like,
you get lucky then. It wasn't. If it was a cold rain, oh god, that would have been brutal. You know those rains that you get up in like the Pacific Northwest where it's like cold and it's raining? Like, oh god, that is like the worst thing ever.
Dude, it was one of those rains where it was like, if you didn't have a jacket on or something else underneath your raincoat, you were gonna get sick. Thankfully, I had my jacket on, my raincoat on underneath, but it was like.
But it's not like a summer rain though, where you could just run and do stuff in the.
It was one of those rains where it's like you're gonna get sick after this if you're not bundled up. And so I literally stood there for like 5, 6, 7 hours in that rain, making sure that was going to be a win. My phone almost died and stuff. Like I was hell bent on that and seeing that happen. And it was good to see that happen. So like when I got back to my hotel, I took some NyQuil and passed out. I was like, look, I love Ace and I love Hendrix, but I am not getting on this thing at 2 a.m. I'm taking to sleep. So,
bro, you sent me that text about like Hendrix want to do a podcast. I'm like, wait, who wants to do a podcast? I forgot. Low-key, don't take this wrong. I forgot Hendrix was like. I thought he was so busy with his life and stuff. I didn't know he wanted to do a podcast. And like, hey, he want to do a podcast? I bet. Let me go set this up.
Yeah. So hey, and y'all did a great job at 2 a.m. It's fantastic. But that being said, folks, that's going to do it for us tonight. Because he's got schoolwork to take care of, and I have some business I need to.
Finals week.
Yes, it is finals week. So
last day tomorrow.
You got this, man. Just lock in and do what you got to do. You'll be fine. You will definitely be fine. God's got you.
Yeah, boy. Gotta lock in. Anyways, with that being said, guys, Be a friend, tell a friend, like, share, subscribe. This was a fun episode.
This was very
JPeeps already
fun.
dropped. JPeeps done told you what time, how our breakdown is.
Yep. Next week.
We'll do predictions next week.
Yes, we will. Yes, we will. I like this though. This is fun. So yeah,
No
folks,
comments tonight. Comment section was dry.
yeah. Well, we had Ashton. It was all good.
Ashton said if we're going to Atlanta, that's fair too. Because now it was completely dead tonight.
Yeah.
But that's also why we finished at an hour, not an hour and 30 minutes or something like that.
true. But yeah, folks, that's gonna do it for us. So stay safe, stay blessed. We will see you next Wednesday. Celebration Bowl week.